What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. Beautiful evening, indeed. I was supposed to be sleeping right now. I'm still up trying to, bring you some of the stuff that you love. Thank you very much for being faithful to us. I know many of you come back twice a day, and I cannot disappoint you. Thank you very much. First time, please subscribe, click on the button so we can see each other very, very much. I'm sure we're going to love one another. We're a big family after all, okay? And we're all going to do this before we start our video. Okay, please, let's do this. This will allow our video to go further, okay? Thank you very much. Today we're going to talk about something very interesting. We're talking about Russia. Yes, we all know what's happening across the world. Maybe we need to give more detail so we can quite understand. So the Russian government is complaining about the dangerous move that the United States of America is doing right now. The USA is coming very close to North Korea, okay, with his allies, which are South Korea and Japan. So Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov denounced on Thursday the dangerous military policy of the United States and its Japanese and South Korean allies against North Korea. This is very important, fellas. Before you drop the video, I want you to understand. In order to know how to fight, you ought to know what are you fighting for. Okay? And we come together here so we can understand why it's important to us. The subject we develop most of the times are very much relatable to our situation as African or Afro-descendant people. Okay, so we need to understand what is what in order to position ourselves appropriately. I'm going to read again. So the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov denounced on Thursday the dangerous military policy of the United States and its Japanese and South Korean allies against North Korea, following a discussion with Pyongyang with North Korean leaders. Like our North Korean friends, we are gravely concerned by the intensification of the military activities by the United States, Japan, and South Korea in the region. We oppose this non-constructive and dangerous line, declared the Russian minister to the press. So as you can understand, clearly America is coming very closely to North Korea by bringing equipment to Japan and South Korea. South Korea and Japan don't get along with North Korea, and we're going to explain. So why did Sergei Lavrov go to North Korea? His trip to North Korea came in the midst of the rapprochement between Moscow and Pyongyang against the backdrop of the conflict in Ukraine, with the United States fearing that Russia will be seeking to obtain weapons from North Korea's neighbor for its offensive. So basically, we know that Russia has been fighting in Ukraine for quite a bit, and many Western countries are expecting Russia to run out of ammunition, okay, because that's what they expect. They've been sending weapons to Ukraine to fight Russia, but they were hoping that Russia would collapse due to lack of ammunition. But curiously, Russia has been very sporadic. They've communicated with many other countries, and now they've gone to North Korea, hopefully, to open doors. And now Americans are worried. They think that North Korea will be supplying Russia with ammunition and stuff. Okay, so why is this important to us? Because first of all, why do they care what Russia does with North Korea? That's a very good question. Why does America and South Korea and NATO care about what North Korea does with Russia? We're going to need to understand what is North Korea. North Korea was born out of Korea. Korea was one country, okay? The North and the South were one country. That country was colonized by the Japanese during World War II. Like many other countries with Germany, Japan colonized Korea, okay? And then when they liberated Korea, meaning the Russians and the Western nations, the north of Korea became North Korea and was controlled by the communists, which are the Russians, the Soviets. The southern part of Korea became South Korea. There was much more influence of Western nations, They also adopted the mentality like tattoos, men with men, women and women. You know what I mean? So the lifestyle was just completely different. It became two total different countries. But not forgetting that they are the very same people. Koreans, northern and southern, are the same people, divided by politics. So Koreans in the south have cousins in the north, and Koreans in the north have nieces in the south. These are the same people, separated many years now because of politics. The North wanted to be very close to the Russians and the Soviets and the Chinese. They kept, that mentality of a strong man, strong family base, whatever you call it. The South wanted to be more liberal, or they became eventually more liberal like Western nations. Now, there is a reason why people don't like North Korea, because North Korea chose to stay North Korea. They don't want anything to do with you. They don't want your religion. They don't want your language. They don't want your influence. They want nothing to do with you. And the Western nations do not like that. Because as you know, in most of the world, most part of the world, wherever they have been, they have created mayhem by dividing, conquering, and erasing your culture, your tradition. You know what it is. If you look at the entirety of Africa, Africans today struggle to find themselves because they've been subjected for too many years of the oppression, mental oppression, psychological oppression, the complete change of culture into the African communities. North Koreans wanted none of that. There are no McDonald's in North Korea, no KFC in North Korea. There's no Pick and Pay or any other thing, Walmart, whatever you name it, does not exist there. They don't want it. There's no access to internet in North Korea. There's no music of Hollywood in North Korea. There's no movies of Hollywood in North Korea. They chose to keep the culture, to stay North Koreans. And the Western nations do not like that. That is the main reason why everybody is against North Korea, at least the Western nation. Now, there is a reason why North Korea has never been bombed. Because usually when a country stands too strong against them, what do? They go and bomb you, like they did with Iraq, like they did with Afghanistan, like they did with Syria. But why can't they bomb North Korea? Because North Korea is strong. It's a very strong country. They have nuclear weapons. They have missiles that can leave one continent to the other. You see now where we're going? Criminals are only scared of crime. Dangerous people are only afraid of danger. So because they are met with a level of danger, they can't just go to North Korea and do whatever. So we're going to go very quickly and see what's particular about North Korea so we can understand. What is North Korea? Now, in North Korea, there are certain things that you cannot do. Okay, it's a different country, different everything. In North Korea, they do not, number one, they do not consume external content. Meaning like this video cannot be seen in North Korea. There's no internet access for the normal human beings. None of that. Okay, they're going to consume their own stuff. That's the only way. Many people can say, okay, this is oppressive. But hey, who are we to judge? They want to keep their community clean. Obviously, clean of nakedness, clean of all the nasty things that you see. That is for them. Number two, in North Korea, you cannot do international calls. No, none of that. If you want to do international calls, you need to get an authorization for that. They're just, I guess, trying to avoid any infiltration of negative minds in the community. Number three, in North Korea, you're not allowed to wear jeans or bikinis. You're not allowed to do that. No jeans, no bikinis. They have their own style. They have their own everything. I mean, let's think about it. When did jeans and bikini come in Africa? Somebody brought it. You mean to tell me that our ancestors wore bikinis? No, they didn't. They wore other things, clearly. I know some of them wore some leaves, but, well, were the leaves the bikinis of Africans? Well, whatever it is, you cannot wear bikinis in North Korea or jeans. Number four, in North Korea, you cannot travel without authorization. So you cannot leave one area to the other without being authorized to do it. It's very easy to say, okay, this is oppressive and stuff, but hey, it's not very different from many things that we see across the world. Like in Africa, people pay dowry. I mean, you have to pay lobola, like you call in South Africa. Prize bride, like you call in some Eastern African nation. These are basically just custom, traditional stuff. It means before you get a woman, before you marry somebody, you need to go see their family. You need to go provide gifts, okay, symbolic gifts, even though some people abuse it by asking a lot of money. But you cannot, in Africa, just take a woman, go with her. And I'm sure a lot of white people look at that and go like, oh, what is that? Are they selling the girl? I'm sure some of you also believe that. But it's symbolic. For us Africans, that is everything. That is the beauty of marriage. You cannot talk about marriage if there's no that exchange. That's the value. Of course, we don't value the woman based on the money we give, but it's that symbolic action. Now, if North Koreans decide not to move without authorization, who are we to blame them? Exactly. Number five, in North Korea, they choose your job for you. Yeah, you don't just choose what job you want to do. Government, choose what job you can do. Basically, I would believe this is all based on your performance, I think. I mean, people can blame them and say, okay, this is oppressive, but this is not very different from what we see in some countries, it's not very different. Number 6, in North Korea, you cannot name your child Kim. Okay, Kim is a name that is reserved for the president. You can name your child whatever you want, but just not Kim. Number 7, in North Korea, you are authorized to have 28 different haircuts. There's only 28 different cuts that you can have. 28 shave, nothing else. No funny mohawks, no funny whatever you call it. None of that. No, none of that. Number 8, in North Korea, a criminal could put everybody in danger, everybody in his family. So if you're a criminal and you do crime, they might arrest some of your family members for questioning or, temporarily until you show up. But that's not very different from what you see in the Western countries, because sometimes they will call your mom for what they call questioning, right? Questioning is arrest. They just don't call it arrest. They're going to keep you there for hours for questioning, and they're going to monitor you. But it's very easy to blame other people who do the very same thing, if not very similar. Okay, number 9, North Korea, everybody must go to military school. It's compulsory. They have millions of people that are soldiers. And I guess this is very good because, number 1, military makes you very disciplined. Military make men very strong, mentally, physically, psychologically. I think, many countries should adopt it. And North Korea is not the only country that does it. Israel sends all of these boys and women to, learn how to shoot, to be military for a year or 2. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I think that's the reason why, one of the main reasons why they have never been attacked, because they know they're effective. They are very strong people. Number 10, in North Korea, the state chooses where you live. So the state is going to say you're going to live in this town or the other town. You don't make that choice for yourself. It's very easy to blame them and say, that is not acceptable. But hey, do you know that if you go to Australia, if you immigrated to Australia, Australia will have to choose where you're going to stay. Yeah, you don't choose where you stay. They define where you're going to stay. So it's not very different from North Korea that chooses where you're going to stay. Okay? And 11, in North Korea, Western influence is blocked. They don't want none of your stories of man and man, women and women. They don't want none of that. No rap music, no hip hop, none of that. They keep everything local. Who are we to blame them? Nobody. So people should just focus on their own and trying to fix their own issues and their own flaws and leave North Korea alone. Okay, so back to the basics. We all understand North Korea is a very complex country, but do they deserve respect? Yes, they deserve respect. Do they deserve the authority to run their own country and choose their own direction? Yes, they do. They're not obliged to comply with everybody. I don't understand what's the need of making every country a democratic country. I don't know who came up with that. Because democracy is a lie. I mean, we know that. Democracy suits the strongest people. So, let me just remind you before we finish. Russia says America is bringing weapons and equipment next to North Korea. This is unacceptable. In the 1960s, 1962 to be precise, America posted nuclear weapons in Turkey and Italy. Okay? Very close to Russia. And at the time, the Soviet Union, Khrushchev, who was the president of Russia, also authorized Russia to place missiles in Cuba. Okay, so there was missiles in Cuba. Americans discovered there was missiles in Cuba, very close, 180 kilometers from Florida. What did they do? They sent an alarm. It was very close to have a third world war. And while Russia sent another boat, another ship with more missiles, Americans blocked that ship in the sea. It was called the quarantine. Okay? America, in the meantime, had bases in Turkey and Italy with missiles that are nuclear weapons. That was okay for them. But when Russians sent missiles in Cuba, it was a problem. They didn't want to accept that. They had to sit down with the Russians and find a solution about that. You see what I'm saying? So it's okay for us to have missiles next to you, but it's not okay for you to bring missiles next to us. This is just a reminder. Now they are placing stuff, as per Sergei Lavrov, across Japan and South Korea. This is completely unacceptable. I think if you do something you want to be fair, then be fair all across the line. Don't just be picky and choosing on things you want to do and what's not compatible. Thank you very much, fellas. You very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Yeah. Your contribution is very necessary. I know you are very smart people. Did I forget something? Please bring it across. Do you have something to say? Please say it so we can grow our community even bigger. God bless.